Not move quickly enough to root out the systemic racism within the department.
Activists are saying protests and violence in Minneapolis are evidence of years of pent-up frustration with city leaders and police. Fires are burning tonight. Looters have been ransacking businesses. This coming just days after George Floyd died in police custody. Cell phone video showed an officer's knee pressing into his neck while he said he couldn't breathe, and even long after his body appeared to go limp. Plans are in the works for demonstrations in St. Louis to call for justice and a change to the way people of color are treated by police. News 4's Russell Kinsall is live at St. Louis Police Headquarters tonight.
Yeah, Steve, right now there are about 20 or more protesters downtown at the corner of 20th and Olive. That's across the street from police headquarters. Some holding signs with George Floyd's name on it, some calling for those 4 officers involved in his death to be charged and convicted. Here in St. Louis, there is a desire to get out and express outrage and call for justice. There was much outrage in the St. Louis region after seeing the video of Minneapolis of George Floyd on the ground with a police officer's knee on his neck, and then learning that Floyd died after that. After the death of Michael Brown in Ferguson, this region was the front lines of anger over the deaths of African Americans at the hands of police officers. I spoke with former Ferguson protester Rasheen Aldridge, who served on the Ferguson Commission and is currently a state representative. He says he does not condone burning down businesses, but pointed out that they can be rebuilt, but you can't bring back those who've died. And he said the local protests and activism after Michael Brown's death did yield positive change here.
We've seen a lot of victories. We've seen people on the ground like myself that took it from just being on the ground, from protest to politics. We've seen some policy change. We've seen more conversations around what does an equitable community look like when you can have community policing. But we also continue to still see lives being taken at the hands of the same people that are supposed to protect and serve them, and no justice happen.
The president of the St. Louis Ethical Society for Police posted on the group's Facebook page a video where she talks about the tactics used by those officers in Minneapolis. And she said they used lethal force, which was excessive, and also the tactic of putting a knee on somebody's neck. She said police in St. Louis are not taught to use that tactic. Now, Rasheen Aldridge said that there are plans for other demonstrations to express outrage and call for justice here in St. Louis, and those plans will be announced later on. Live downtown, Russell Kinsall, News 4.